Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Fantom is a consensus as a service platform for the next generation of distributed ledgers. So with me to explain exactly what that means, CEO Michael Kong, to tell us more about Fantom and what all you're doing there. And so give us a simple explanation of what Fantom is doing.
Well, Fantom is a layer one platform. So what that means is that we run like our own consensus engine, and it's basically a platform that allows you to perform smart contract execution. So the way that you deploy and you operate different kinds of applications, such as in decentralized finance or NFT related, gaming related, or metaverse related, these are all sorts of use cases that you can have on the Fantom platform. And what really differentiates us from other platforms is that it always stays online, it never goes offline. It processes transactions very, very fast because we have a unique technology where you can process multiple transactions around the same time and still build that blockchain ledger in the end. So that's really what the platform is.
Now, there are a lot of blockchains out there. In fact, there's some criticism, there are too many, it's confusing. I mean, how are you different than some of the current blockchains that are existing?
Yeah, that's a question that we often get asked. And so we're different in many different ways when it comes to the technology. So I think a very important point about our technology that's really important to note is that it's very reliable, and it's provably reliable just empirically. So for more than a year now, the network has never gone offline. It's always stayed online. It's never had a single millisecond of downtime, and I think that's very important for a smart contract developers and for people launching applications, so they know that the network is reliable, that it doesn't turn off, that it basically never goes offline. And so we're kind of proven empirically that the network is very stable and it operates well. I mean, on top of that, the other advantages are that we can provably process multiple transactions at the same time, as I mentioned before. And so you get much greater levels of input while maintaining transaction fees very, very low. And our transaction fees are even lower than the other L1s out there. You can perform quite a complicated smart contract execution on Fantom, and you're paying maybe a few cents, right? Or if you're just doing a more simpler transaction, right now you can go to the Fantom network and you can see that you're paying maybe 0.2 or 0.3 of a cent for a single transaction. On Ethereum, in contrast, you may be paying $5. So it's those technology points that I think really differentiate us. And on top of that, we're focusing on solving technology problems that I don't think the other chains are. In particular, how you execute smart contracts. So there's a whole software layer, as I mentioned before, on executing smart contracts. In order, but that technology stack is very, very slow. It slows down the speed of your network by, from our empirical analysis, of about 90 to 95%. So if you can fix that 90 to 99%, 90 to 95% performance issue, and you can execute smart contracts a lot faster, then you get way more performance than you currently get on our network, and also on other networks as well, that if they adopted the same technology.
So finally, what kind of applications do you see being built on the Fantom network?
So right now, the two primary use cases of blockchain technology is related to decentralized finance, or DeFi, and NFTs, or what we call game finance, or metaverse technology. And there's been a lot of talk more recently, in particular, about metaverse technology because of what Facebook and what many other companies are doing. But I think those two use cases are real use cases. I think they will continue to exist. I think that you'll see a lot of innovation in those spaces. But I think there are other use cases out there that don't really get as much publicity that I think they really should, and I think are going to really explode in usage, just like DeFi and NFTs have. And one of the ideas is to do with peer-to-peer insurance. And so that allows you to taking advantage of blockchain technology, you can solve a lot of inefficiencies in insurance in terms of claimings, in terms of how you do the analysis of insurance products, in terms of removing all the extra costs of having a third party or the big insurance company. And on top of that, there's going to be a lot of use cases around supply chain management as well. So we're already starting to see that with some luxury brands and companies, use blockchain technology in order to prove how supply chain has worked over time. And I think that use case is just going to get become more and more prominent because it's a very powerful use case that basically every a company can use that has a supply chain.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from Aitx. Visit aitx.ai.
SunWest Mortgage Company is a family-owned mortgage banker with operations both in the United States as well as the Caribbean, and they focus on mid to low income home loans. So with me is the CEO, Pavan Agarwal, to explain the company and kind of where you go from here. So welcome. And I was surprised to hear you've been around for decades. So give me a little history of SunWest.
Well, sure, Jane, and thank you for having me. So SunWest, my father started the firm in 1980, and we've basically been focused on just delivering quality service and connecting with every single family and caring about every single family. And in that long, steady, continuous process of how we serve our community, we've grown across the country. And now in that process, we have learned to connect both human to human and human to technology. So what we're launching now is something very exciting that we call empathetic technology. And I believe we're the first to launch empathetic technology, a practical application of it. It's been in the laboratory for years. So we have a first real working ability for a computer to interact with you in a way that you lead and you direct the system, especially on a very personal situation like a home mortgage where you're discussing your finances. We put you in control as opposed to the computer being in control. And
So explain how that works a little bit. So say I want to apply for a mortgage. How is the process different with you and this new technology than it would be in a traditional mortgage application?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the process is you have a conversation with it, and you go at your pace and you tell it what you need, and it responds. It understands your inflections and it responds accordingly. And it's very much like talking to a human loan officer, and you get that same level of service and care, but it's technology driven. And so you're not stuck on rigid forms, and that's particularly important in families that are underserved, in whether your family living with autism or your family with you have some disabilities, or veterans with first-time home buyers. There's a lot more to your story than just a couple of numbers. Right? Credit score, DTI, income, that is simple and easy for the very affluent borrowers, which we serve as well. But we deliver that same high-speed, high-touch service to the full spectrum.
Yeah. And then we've clearly seen interest rates on the rise, in particular over the past couple of weeks. How has that impacted your business?
Well, I think the market has changed significantly over the last 18 months. And the rising interest rates, we went from 6 months ago, or even a few months ago, from 6, 7 offers, 10 offers on a property, which we solved that problem with what we have a true approval product. But we went from 6, 7 offers to now 1 or 2 offers, and it's actually, in a way, although premiums have gone up a little bit, it's actually in a way helping lower income and middle income families, people with FHA financing, because they're not competing with as many offers anymore.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pavan, for joining us and telling us about SunWest.
Thank you, Jane. Cheers.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
Leflair is a Vietnamese-based company, e-commerce company, and with me is the CEO, Loic Gautier, to talk about the company and the recent acquisition from Society Pass, and explain how the company was formed, Loic. I mean, just give me a little history of Leflair.
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. So Leflair is a company that I started in 2015. So it's been about 10 years that I live in Southeast Asia, and in particular in Vietnam. And I've been doing e-commerce most of my life, first with Groupon back in Europe and in France in particular, where I'm from. I then joined in 2013 a company named Lazada that used to be owned by Rocket Internet, and then I was sold to Alibaba in 2016. And in 2015, I basically realized that there was still a gap in the e-commerce market, and that in particular international brands, world famous brands, were not that were not merchandise that were very suitable for those marketplaces that offered very little control of the supply and protection for the customers. So we decided to start our own e-commerce website that we called Leflair, and that for the following 5 years did very well. We had more than 200 employees, multi-million-dollar sales, growing very nicely. Until in 2020, we obviously started to experience certain difficulties due to the COVID pandemic, which led to afterwards the acquisition of the company by Society Pass in May 2020.
Okay, so describe it in 2020, what happened? Because I mean, it seems like digital businesses did okay during that time. So what happened there that was challenging for you?
Well, first of all, as a company, we had very nice growth. We were basically more than doubling revenue every year, and we were raising capital every year. But at the end of 2019, a lot of startups like ours that were high growth, high burn, had difficulties raising further capital because of the environment and what was happening with WeWork at the time. So it made it difficult for us to close we were working on a $40 million round of funding at that time. And then at the beginning of the year, as I said, COVID started to hit and lockdown started to happen. And we were selling fashion goods, international brands. These are not essential goods, right? So all the businesses that were not selling essential goods online actually had to stop their operation for a certain time. So for us, we were unable to basically continue the business for quite an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm. And so you were acquired by Society Pass, which is, operates mainly in Southeast Asia.
Absolutely.
So describe that. Like, what has happened with Leflair since then, and just take me through that journey.
So after the acquisition of Society Pass, Leflair became the e-commerce vertical of the Society Pass ecosystem. That is basically building an ecosystem of companies that are digitally enabled in Southeast Asia. And so what has happened is that obviously we joined forces with their team. We are now able to leverage the fact that they are a public company listed on NASDAQ and are, well capitalized, which obviously helps us as an e-commerce company, which is a capital intensive business, to obviously expand our operation and grow our sales. But it's also allowed us to rethink our business model and how we are, seeing the near future and midterm future for our company. So before the acquisition of Society Pass, we were, and we are pretty much still today, a single platform that only acts at the end of the life cycle of the product and at the end of the e-commerce value chain. What it means is that we don't own any inventory, which is, obviously very, very little risk associated with that. But in counterpart, we also take a relatively small margin on every sale that we make. And as an e-commerce company, obviously, you should not work towards increasing your prices and the margin that you make off the customers, because it impacts negatively your sales. So obviously, e-commerce being also a very expensive business, especially when it comes to acquiring customers and customer acquisition costs, it usually requires a tremendous amount of capital. And although Society Pass is now a public company, we do not want to follow the path of the large e-commerce websites that are raising and burning billions of dollars. So we are making our business model shift to be more suitable to the Southeast Asia economy and the way we believe e-commerce companies and retail companies should grow in the near future. And how we do that is basically that by integrating the e-commerce and retail value chain.
Thank you so much, Loic, for joining.
Thank you very much.
Explaining Leflair and your relationship with Society Pass. It's very interesting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. Red Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by Red Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by Red Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from Aitx. Visit aitx.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
SKUR is a way to protect your instant messages, your email. They don't data collect, so it's particularly good for businesses that are looking to discuss some confidential information. And with me, the CEO of SKUR, Alain, Ghiai, to talk about let's talk about the hacks, because it seems like every day there's something, some places getting hacked, millions gone. What kind of things are you seeing lately, these hacks?
So hi everyone for watching us, and thank you for listening to us. So what happened is the latest news has been the hack of remote work. There's a big trend on remote work. Even though COVID has abated a lot, now companies have that habit of, people are going to work from home in hybrid mode. So 3 days a week, you're going to be home. I was watching yesterday on Bloomberg, and they said 18 to 24-year-olds, if they can't work from home, they want to change their job. So this kind of work from home is going to stay with us. Mm-hmm. And the problem is the same problem we had during COVID, where you would call your credit card company and it's an overseas operator in India or the Philippines. They were shut down, and they don't have the infrastructure and the security in their home of highly encrypted communication. Obviously, they're in a small place, and they just have basic internet. So hackers had a field day the last 2-3 years. Now they're discovering that half of the population wants to work from home. And the problem is, when you're home and you have a router, first of all, the most popular password is password.
Okay.
And sometimes it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
So you don't have a highly secure internet connection. Then you also mix. For example, you have an email, you use your Outlook, but then you're going to go on your WhatsApp to quickly chat with your coworker. Because if you and I are in an office, Jane, we basically can go to another room, have a conference, and do face-to-face meeting. Now it's all through chat and email. So it makes like, it's like a paradise for hackers. They intercept everything, they hack, they data mine whatever you have, they go into your phone through these free big tech chat applications that we all use. And then eventually, you know, you get a big hat and it costs a company millions of dollars. You mentioned earlier that it's costing millions. The global economy in 2021 suffered a $6 trillion loss from real money that was stolen and loss of productivity.
Yeah.
The cyber hacking business is massive.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, the work from home trend. Now, do secure products, can they help with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how, because what happened is when you use Sekur with your Secure send button, for example, you basically can send an email to somebody who is not part of Sekur. You go on your webmail. We have an application actually coming mid-June that you don't even have to go on the webmail anymore. And you send to somebody who has Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail, and that person receives a notice. They click on a link, and they can read your message, get as many attachments as you send them, and then they can reply, all of that without having to use Sekur. So it's a great way to protect the sender and the receiver.
Yeah.
You know, our viewers can go on sekur.com. You can go to the support page. We have a video tutorial, and you just check to see how to use Secure Send.
Yeah.
And it's a part of our normal email service. Now, when you use chat, we all use these free applications, right? We're not going to name them all. Essentially, what happens is not everybody has Secure Messenger, right? So what happens is you should be able to chat with somebody securely. So we invented something called chat by invite. So if I have Secure Messenger and you don't, I can send you a text. You will get a text. You'll click on a link, and then we chat together.
Okay.
So it's a pretty amazing
And it's encrypted
tool.
On both ends.
It's encrypted on both ends, yeah, basically you don't need, the recipient doesn't need to download Secure, but then when you're done with your conversation, you can basically terminate the conversation and nobody can get in.
Okay. Now, one thing I think about is, like, I've got this email system years. Is there a way that I can use Secure and like transport all of those contacts over? Okay, you can do that.
Absolutely. So if you have whatever email you have, you can use Secure. You can migrate your old email. You can also, obviously now we launch business emails, and you can also migrate your domain name with us. And if you're just creating a new business, you can basically create your domain, which you bought already, and you configure your email with us. It's super easy to do. You don't need to be an IT technical person to migrate your emails. I would still recommend people to have one of these free email service, because you're going to sign up for newsletter, for gym membership, for anything else. And I would use that free email, which is not private at all, for these kind of things. Because what's happening, unfortunately, is marketers sell your emails. Like my secure email, I keep it as private as possible. I have another email when I sign up for services.
Got it. So use like that kind of throwaway email for the extra stuff, but any business or confidential use.
And also our email comes with 100 gigabyte of storage. It comes with a privacy tool like Secure Send. It has a bunch of cool tools. The Secure module lets you know when you send Secure Send to someone, it'll let you know if they saw it, when they saw it. You can recall an email. We have archiving capability that we're launching as well. So you can be an individual, a small business, or a huge enterprise and still have all the tools that you need. As a matter of fact, in Latin America, we're starting to sell quite a lot of the Secure Messenger and now the email as well. These are used by government entities and big companies.
Okay, so let's talk about a little business here. I know that you've raised some money. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me about that and the uplisting.
Sure. So we raised, what happened is we have a plan to uplist to NASDAQ. You know, of course, I have to do full disclosure. There's no guarantee we're going to be there, but we have done the process. We had about 5 offers from investment bank. We selected one, and now we started the process. Before that process, we were in the middle of raising money for a few shareholders that missed out on our November raise. So we're going to raise about $500,000. We went to 700,000. The price was 28 cents US with a full warrant at 56 cents for 2 years. And we were happy because we raised more money. We had to stop it at some point because we had a hard deadline of April 19. Because from that date onward, we are starting our process for the SEC filing. So the company has about 5.7 million in the bank, US dollars. 7 point something Canadian dollar, no debt. Today, with the money that we have enough cash, enough runway to go to profitability. However, we plan to uplist to NASDAQ to get more funding as well because we can accelerate the growth. Meanwhile, we've done a pretty good milestone. We just got upgraded to OTCQX. Now, the QX is a very stringent compliance requirement. You need to have operational history, and you need to have minimum assets and cash in the bank. So meeting that requirement really is a testimony to how serious we are and what kind of company we are, even though we're a small cap or micro cap. We definitely have the right requirements to meet those higher stringent requirements. So we're excited. The QX, OTC has been amazing with us. Of course, being on NASDAQ opens to the entire globe and also bigger funds, etc.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Alain. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks, everyone, for watching.